Hey everyone, I'm Jordan Banderas, the host of the Bad Influence podcast, and I thought I'd influence you badly with today's episode. But before we get started, don't forget to smash the subscribe or follow button so you don't miss out on any episodes. So let's get started. Okay, so I've had several people ask me, Jordan, why do you swear so much? Literally, this has happened throughout my entire life. And I'm 35, so that's a lot. So every time I get this question asked, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have an answer. So I don't know what you want me to say. And people don't like that because they're like, you should know why you're swearing so much. And I'm like, I really don't. So recently, I've had that question asked again. And I was like, why do you have to ask me that question? Because again, I didn't have an answer. So, because probably I'm going to get that question asked a lot because of the podcast. I'm getting more listeners and everything. So they're going to wonder, why do you swear so much? So I had to literally look back to my entire life in order for me to find the answer to this question. And I can finally say I have an answer, which I want to share with you because I honestly think that there's a lot of people that have a similar situation than mine because they swear as well and they don't even know why. So my answer for this is that I genuinely think that swearing, it's a form of expression, at least for me, because of the environment I grew up in. Because the way that I grew up, I honestly didn't know any different. For me, swearing was just normal because that's the way that my mom would talk to me, my brother would talk to me, and other people would talk to me. So it's like, hey, if the adults in my life are talking to me like that, I'm gonna talk the same way, you know? Which for some people is hard to believe because they don't know my mom. And when I tell them that, they're like, there's no way you learned that from her. And when they meet my mom, they're like, she's so nice. She looks so sweet. And I'm like, hold on. Take a step back. Don't let her fool you. Looks can be deceiving. And just piss her off just a little bit. And you're going to see what she's capable of saying. And you're going to learn where I learned that from. You know what I mean? I'm like, she can be 5 foot nothing and shrinking, but she still is very feisty. So, because of the environment I grew up in, swearing comes as second nature for me. And it comes naturally to me because I have been exposed to it my entire life since I was little. Like I said, all I ever heard was swearing from my mom, my brother, at school, on TV, with friends, and definitely on the streets growing up. And I will go out a lot. I will, go play with my friends and things like that. So I was hearing it all the time. So it was hard not to be exposed to that because it's simply the environment I grew up in. And I cannot change that. I really can't. I wish I could, but that kind of environment is what made me be me. Now, one of the things that people have said to me is that because I swear, I must not be a good person, or I must be a thug, or I must be uneducated. But I don't feel that because I swear, either I'm a terrible person, I'm uneducated, or a thug. Because I'm just being me. Let's be honest. I'm just being me. Like, that's just how I am. Now, something that happened in regards to all this situation with the swearing is that when I came to the United States, my uncle was living here in Utah. So, of course, that was where we chose to live as he was our only family here. So I didn't really have a say where we were moving. My mom was all like, we are moving to where your uncle lives. But if I had a say in regards to where we could have moved, I would prefer a different city like LA or Las Vegas. But I was only 13, so I couldn't give any input in regards to that. Now, imagine this. Going from living in a big city like Mexico City to a small city like Salt Lake City or Small Lake City like some people call it, the change in speed was like going from 100 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour in a matter of seconds. So to say that I had culture shock was an understatement because I didn't know the language very well at first, or at all, I guess you can say. But I did know some words, just a few. A few of them, or especially one of them, was the good 4-letter word in English, which is F-U-C-K, fuck. Now, Salt Lake City is very religious. And by religious, I mean super religious. They literally breathe religion, in case you didn't know that. So I had never been around that, so it was hard to adapt because swearing or using any of the words I had heard growing up was not something I could use freely like I did before, since that was not what I was hearing at the neighbor's house, the streets, TV, or with friends, like nobody was talking like that around me when I moved to the States, I was like, whoa, this is completely different. And people here stare you down if you do swear. Like they want to throw some holy water at you. Now you might think that's funny, which it is, but it's so fucking true. I have had those kind of stares multiple times and I'm like, hey, I won't melt. So, because of all of this, I had to realize that people in Utah are much tamer than in other parts of the world, especially where I'm from. Now, before moving to the States, swearing was definitely not shame in Mexico like it is here. So, I thought nothing of it. I could swear all the time and nobody will think anything of it because it was the norm and I started young. I'm pretty sure that my first word ever was a cuss word. I'm telling you, I started very young. So for me, it became a bad habit. I guess I can say it was a lifetime bad habit. It's one of those habits that are bad, but it's a lifetime habit that you had for so long that you don't even realize it's bad. It's kind of like that for me. So when I moved to Utah, I had to censor myself a ton. It made me a much quieter person because I wasn't sure what would offend someone and what wouldn't. Especially at first because of the language barrier. Like I didn't know if I was saying it correctly, if I was being offensive or anything like that. And I also didn't want people to feel like I was attacking them or being rude to them because that was definitely not my intention. I feel like because I couldn't express myself the way that I used to with swearing, I was disarmed and was left with nothing. Like you take most of the words that I was using, so I couldn't really talk because I didn't know how. Now, I want to share this story with you guys because this is the reason why I feel like I was disarmed. So, this happened to me one time where we went to Park City to do some snow tubing. This was back in 2000. It was almost 22 years ago. This was my first winter here in Utah. So I was super excited. I was like, hell yeah. I've never been in the snow up to that point. I was like, I've never been snow tubing for sure. So I wanted to do it. Now, we went to Park City with my family, some family friends, and their kids who were around my age. So while we were waiting in line to come down the mountain, to come down the mountain and have some fun, one of the kids in our group caught up with us. And when I saw him, I was like, come over here, motherfucker. Because, that's how I am. I thought it would be funny. And I remember everyone in that damn line stared at me like I was the plague. Now, another thing that happened when I did that, the group that I was with literally started walking away from me. They kind of pushed me out of the group. So I felt bad because I was like, I'm not attacking anyone or trying to be rude. That's just the way I talk. And I don't know what you want me to say. Like I mentioned, that's just the way that I talk. Like, those are the words that I use to express myself because of the way that I grew up. And that's how my mom would talk to me, So it took me a while, but I realized that I'm not attacking anyone when I swear. I'm only expressing my feelings towards a situation, not a person, unless the person pisses me off. But that's different because you can hear the aggression in my voice. Literally, my voice will change. If you piss me off and I start swearing at you, you will know that I'm attacking you. I'm going to destroy you. And I also realize that a lot of people speak the same way I do, especially New Jersey, New York, I feel like I should be there like, hey, move over, motherfucker, Which, by understanding this, made me understand that I'm just expressing myself this way. Now, because I also wanted to do some research about what swearing really is or what it does to you, I found out that swearing can actually be a stress reliever. You may be like, wait, what? But you heard that right. You can actually Google this and find the information that I'm talking about. If you actually Google is swearing a stress reliever, you will hear information from like Harvard and other schools that actually talk about this. And I'm like, what? So no wonder why I swear so much. No wonder why I'm so calm. So now, because of finding this information and finding myself, I have realized that all I'm doing is relieving some stress when I throw out my favorite words, also known as swear words, like, fuck, shit, god damn it, what the fuck, all of those words. And there's a lot more that I could say, but let's just leave it with those. Now, let me tell you this though. This does help me. When I'm very stressed and I swear, it helps me a lot. So I can tell you, like, it may also help you because in my case, it helps me deal with hard situations. I feel a lot better after I cuss out a storm. Now, people ask me, what does your wife think about all of this? And I feel like I got extremely lucky because my wife doesn't mind my foul mouth. As a matter of fact, she has a worse foul mouth than me. And her family might not like my foul mouth, but I don't really care, to be honest. And like I said, like, my wife swears a lot more now since she married me. So I think I'm actually rubbing off on her. Now, another thing that I do want to point out is that I'm not saying that I'm swearing all the time, but I do definitely do it from time to time, like 60 to 80% of the day, since I have very stressful days now. It happens, so it's not that bad. However, I'm also respectful of particular places and people. I'm not going to swear in front of, like a church leader or inside a church or anything like that. I'm not like that because I think that you also have to be able to read your surroundings, and there's also a time and a place for everything, But one thing is true. In my case, I'm not going to stop being me just because someone doesn't like how I talk. I won't change how I am just to make others feel comfortable. That's not my job. And in my opinion, if certain words bug you that bad, the problem may not be the person saying them or the word itself, but the way you feel towards the actual words. But that's based on the environment you grew up in. And that's something you have to learn to deal with, don't you think? Well, I wanted to share this answer with you guys today in regards to this particular question that I've been asked so many times. So I want to hear from you guys. So leave your thoughts about this topic in the comments, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can send me a DM on social media or email me at bjordanthebadinfluence@gmail.com. And I leave you with this. You're not going to fit in everywhere and with everyone. So just be you until you find the right people for you. So thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. And also have a great day.